always just that
Attack defenders.
I think it's like
Oh, we live? Finally, we're live. I can't lie, the green screen is doing loads, people. 1 second. It's more horrible than it normally is. That is putting me off. Maybe I should have actually made sure half of the shit was done. All right, that looks a tiny bit better, man. But yeah, we're back again. Obviously, one day the green screen and all the greenery and all them things would be amazing. I heard you, man, are not getting Vlahovic. I'd hate to be you, man. We're grabbing him. But anyways, people deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in. Good morning to those of you like myself in the United Kingdom. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night. Think I've covered all bases. There's got to be something somewhere for you guys. Large up the Twitch gang. I appreciate you lot support. You know, the Twitch numbers were rising slowly but steady, and I appreciate that. On the topic of content and things like that, as you know, 11:30 we head over to YouTube. I'm going to be back on Twitch because there's Africa Cup of Nations, or AFCON as I like to refer to it as. And you saw yesterday, you know, Cameroon versus Comoros was quite a game. You know, you got a left back in goal, you know, valiant effort by them, man. There, you know, fact, goal of the tournament, really, that free kick slapped it. It must be 35 yards against Onana. But yeah, AFCON's looking pretty lit. So yeah, I'm going to live from 3:30 kickoffs at 4, Senegal, Cape Verde. I think Thursday is Ivory Coast, Egypt on same time. I think they kick off at 4 as well, UK time. So adjust the clocks. I'll be live half an hour prior. So yeah, one love to everyone that supports the YouTube content, the Twitch content, whether that would be real life football, which we're discussing, Football Manager, all of that good stuff. I appreciate it. Without you lot, pardon me, you know, this wouldn't be getting anywhere. But yeah, obviously we're gonna more focus on Vlahovic at 11:30. But as you know, Tottenham and Spurs fans, Vlahovic don't look like it's happening. It looks like there's a merry-go-round because, you know, you can imagine Morata to Barcelona or Morata exit is heating up. Bentancur leaving to go to Aston Villa is still about. Arthur Melo, rumours are still there. Actually, Spurs have been offered Mohamed El Cho for the DeAndre winger, which would be quite a lit signing. And Arsenal have been linked with Arthur Cabal, where he's been linked with Fiorentina as well. So I don't know what's going on, man. Arsenal's a bit brazy. You know, we're getting to the end of the window. You know, Arteta's in America. Hopefully he's getting something from Kroenke, but, you know, there's no midfielder or midfielders. There's no striker. But hey, you know, the strikers that are at the club, realistically, what Lacazette's got 2-3 goals this season. Meady, Eddie Nketiah's got a bag of goals this season, but in meaningful games or meaningful fixtures, respectfully, to call Eddie Nketiah Meady would be too much of it. Respectfully, it would be probably praising him too much, really and truly. So yeah, we're in a, you know, we can't stand in the rain and complain we're wet. You know, a big club like Arsenal, if Eddie Nketiah and Lacazette within the last 6 months of their contract are leading the line for your team, somebody's made a decision, or this has been a consequence of a lack of decisions in that regards anyways. But boy, you know, in midfield, yeah, Partey and Xhaka are being idiots and got themselves sent off and whatnot. But some would say maybe other clubs don't rely on Partey, who was clearly backing some Ray and Neff on the plane after drowning his sorrows of Ghana going out. Big effort from him to get back to the country. In true Arsenal fashion, you wish he didn't because he got sent off. But the very fact that we're in a position where we need to rely on that, indirectly shout out to Partey, but it screams naiveties, and for me it screams incompetence. And you know, we did well to get back to kind of claw back our season and have things to play for. Again, there's no shame in going out of the cups. You know, we lost to Liverpool, terrible against Forest, but it is what it is. But to go out of them, to have one goal in the league, to have one goal in the league, to have no win in the league, and you know, it's just all frustrating and naivety. And you are going to hit wobbles. Even with our unbeaten run, we hit little wobbles and things like that across the course of the season. Remember what happened the last time Mikel Arteta won Manager of the Month or something like that? Seasons are filled with twists and turns, and there's very few variables us as fans can control, but our football club can. Very few. Making sure you're equipped. Again, if it's cold outside, is it silly, people? You'd rather have too many jackets than too little. You can take stuff off. If you're freezing and your nipples are getting hard, because you're finished in it, aren't you? So I make that example to look at midfield again. Guendouzi, Maitland-Niles, Torreira, all different reasons for leaving the club. I had no problems, but the problem is the common denominator is they're all midfielders, and they all might not be in the starting lineup. You know, I don't think any of them midfielders would be in any Arsenal fans starting lineup if you want to challenge for things. But depth. You know, you look at half of our clubs, you know, Spurs are down to their bare bones. They're in a position where they might buy someone, but they can say, Ndombele, you can keep it moving. You know, United got bag of crap man in midfield, but they're still saying, Van der Beek, you got to stay here where you are. Chelsea, again, you've still got Ross Barkley. These guys aren't for sale, but these guys are, you know, they're in and about and whatnot. City got a bag of them. Oh, spoy, we can't buy a midfielder at this moment. Literally, you can be linked with Ruben Neves and all these guys till you're blue in the face. It's dead. Like, it's dead. Until someone's holding the shirt, it is what it is. And, you know, with this daily Vlahovic stuff, we knew how it was going to end. We knew we weren't getting him. Well, you, man, weren't getting him. My thing is different. We're getting him. The old lady, we're upgrading our thing. You get me? We're doing our thing. I know people might cry about kissing the badges, but it is what it is. I'm a boyhood Juventus fan. You get it. It is what it is. My favorite thing is, you know, we'll scout someone heavily, you know, we'll be linked with a bag of strikers, Isaac, Jonathan David, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, all these guys, Jovic, guys that we're still linked with, and Vlahovic's name. Then it will all, like we saw with Szoboszlai, with Al, or with Buendia up until a point, you know. We start hearing to save face, it might be a smoke screen in that, but we're linked with them. Vlahovic becomes the only striker on the planet, not only in the world, but the only striker that our manager can use and things. We start hearing we've watched him for X amount of time. We know his agent, you know, we know his dog sitter, this, that, and the third. We're in talks with this, with that, the third. Then ultimately, you know, that rumbles on for weeks, as you've seen with the Daily Dusan. And then you get into that scenario where we start saying, well, for the interest, there was never a bid, there was never a bid officially placed. We're never quite in for him as much as you want. You know how they're going to say face. Give it a couple of days. You know the Athletic are going to come out with pieces and whatnot. So it is what it is in that regards. But yeah, it looks like Vlahovic has chosen Juventus, or he only ever wanted Juventus. He never entertained Arsenal or United or anyone, no matter how much Arsenal wanted to put peace down. And for me, if you've been chasing a man since October and he's been consistent in this, then you need to slap yourself, really. As great as Vlahovic is, and I want him to go and do great things for us. For my other club, Arsenal, you've got to move on and get other targets. And the thing is, you knew in the summer you needed a midfielder and a striker. You failed to do it and really revamp the spine of the squad. You knew, and even by Arsenal standards, I know we've of recent been doing mad things in Jan, but even by us, you're asking for a lot. Definitely as the window closes down, because again, it's all fun and games saying buy players, but you know, if you're gonna buy, with the exception of a couple players who might be on the scrap heap, if you was going to buy a Jonathan David, a Vlahovic in theory, you know, which can't happen, and all these guys, all these strikers that were linked with Calvert-Lewin, the clubs you're buying them from, they're gonna want to replace them, are they not? So, boy, you know, you don't get rewarded for trying. You don't get rewarded for trying to sign marquee talents. Clearly, he was your number one, and you have some backup options that are more realistic. You don't get applauded for that. It's the same way I like playing City. You don't get points for playing well. You know, you get points for winning. So again, it's going to come down to naiveties. As much as I look at Lacazette and Eddie Nketiah, in terms of scoring goals, they've always been joke men. So as much as Lacazette should have bagged at the weekend and things, I can blame them, but you're asking for a pug to become a greyhound and be a racehorse. I mean, a race dog. It don't make sense. He literally can't do it. You know, Lacazette's lost a yard of pace. He drops way too deep. He ain't got the pace to get up there. We overcompensate on this creativity because he doesn't score enough goals. The one time he's in the box, he can't do it. I can't lie, it's getting quite annoying seeing Eddie Nketiah just play for us, because it's quite terrible, really and truly. At least Laka can look like a footballer. Eddie just don't look levels at all. I'll be real with you lot. So it is what it is, you know. It's not over to the fat lady sings. As I said, respectfully, I'll shut my mouth somewhat until the end of the window. I more want a midfielder, but striker and midfield is vital. And you're getting to the point now, you might as well slap Martinelli up front. Can you get a winger that can bag goals? But I don't know, boy. I don't know. We'll have to see. Is what it is. But yeah, Vlahovic seems to have got his wish with Juventus. Big up Juventus. I don't know how we found the money for it, but we have, you know, loans with obligations to buy. Some might have to go out. Obviously, the Fiorentina fans are not happy. You're seeing the spray paint, the graffiti, and all of these sort of things. But yeah, we'll focus more on that 11:30. But yeah, man, in relation to Vlahovic, that's that. But I've been airing you lot. What have you lot been saying, man? Tarns, I can't lie. I thought you rubbed out the thing, but he said, big up DG and the nation. I thought you rubbed this out and thought, you know, I don't rock with you lot anymore. Been a minute since I've been able to catch a live stream. Appreciative that you're here. 14 Thierry, the same goes for you. Jonathan, Antonio, the same goes for you. I know you're a spud, but THFC Trey, you're always here, and I appreciate that. Whoever you said, this Vlahovic guy has already decided to go to Juventus. Fiorentina wanted to exploit the situation by offering us the ball. Of course, they played it, and Arsenal had their pants down. Obviously, for the Conte thing, you heard his agent many weeks ago say, "Oh, yeah, he can play there. Play with Kane and these things." Arsenal, we've been on to my man since October, so both our clubs being used. There's been a game of poker between Fiorentina and Juventus. We're not selling him to you. Blah blah blah. Juventus, like Bayern Munich, we can have anyone we want in the league. In it, Chiesa went. Now they're getting Vlahovic, and for his sake, I hope he bangs. Car for this hype, he better be 30. I think he is 30, but it is what it is. And again, this is where the one, even though I think Arsenal, I don't agree with this or Spurs, I think they both tried, and more so Arsenal. This is where, until either Vlahovic and his advisors, Arsenal come out, Spurs come out, or Fiorentina come out, we don't know. A lot of things are being said. It's a game of charades. Fiorentina couldn't wait to sell him. They've been whoring him out. Any opportunity their president has to speak, he talked up the thing. So, yeah, they've got their money. They've strengthened the rival. It is what it is, man. For Arsenal, again, it's speaking for Arsenal, you're not a club where you can just say, okay, if we don't get A, then that's it, really and truly. I get it. You only want top bracket players or top targets, but you need to be adaptable. There's thousands of players on the earth. Of course, there's only a few really that can take you to the next level, but you've had enough time to scout. Again, I would say we've had over 3 years, because the moment you gave Aubameyang that new deal, you should have known within the next 2 years, 18 months, that you either A, got to account for his loss of form, natural declining, or things like that, or B, just look to shift his importance away from the team. Speaking for Arsenal, there's glaringly obvious problems, but they're only elevated or become a top priority when it's in the face of us. Only when we've over-relied on Aubameyang for goals, only when we're struggling and he's declining, now we're being linked with strikers. Only when it looked like Xhaka was going to Roma did you see real links with midfielders that could come and impact the thing right now. Lokonga was brought in, but you look at Edu, he said he's a squad player. You listen to what Arteta says, he said he's probably played more than I would have liked. So that tells me he was betting on Xhaka and Partey to get you top four back into Europe. I like Partey more than I like Xhaka, but Partey has been inconsistent. Xhaka, it is what it is. We go on swings and roundabouts with him. Ultimately, I don't think Xhaka is good enough to build a team around for all the pros and cons that he may or may not have. He's got more cons. Partey, I still retain faith in him, but I must admit I've moved into that territory now where if you don't get back, you just have to be a squad player. You just need two midfielders now. Make a new pivot. It is what it is, because, again, I keep saying it. You're not going to see Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Odegaard, all of these guys excel, not only in terms of output, literally goals and assist numbers, but in how they play, until that Santi Cazorla-esque, I know it's easier said than done, but that sort of progressive number 8 is found. Obviously, I think we need another number 6 for the squad, personally, but it's not what I think. It's not what I know. I'm just a humble football fan with an opinion, people? So it is what it is. Big up you lot. VDC. I don't know why I keep saying you're a first time viewer here, man, but I appreciate you. Name your likely top 4, not your wish. Well, 2 is quite simple, isn't it? Unless something mad happens. And I know in terms of numbers and points on the board, they haven't ran away from the pack, but I would say, Man City will be there, obviously. City will be there. I think Chelsea will be there. And I still think it's a fight between Arsenal, Spurs, West Ham and United. They're all stinky. I think United with Cristiano Ronaldo and Sir Alex Ferguson paying off these refs, I think they'll do it. So I'd probably say them. I don't think Spurs have the quality. I think Arsenal are quite naive. I think United and Spurs and West Ham and these guys are all the same team. I just think United got the experience. They've got Ronaldo in it, so you can't write them off. I know other teams. Like I said, all of these teams I've said, they all should be eyeing up full spot, but they've all, that would answer your question. I've had the Juventus kit for time. It's all banner, man. Don't cry, man. Man said, "Raw DG stressed on daily Dusan." Me stressed. The guy that was saying this ain't happening, but we're going to speculate about it anyways. I told you how this story ended. You didn't listen. Arsenal doing Arsenal things, spent a window looking at the thing they want, and now we're going to pick some second choice when the lights come on and the rave's over. You're moving mad. So glad that is done. Loving the Juventus kit, DG. I do think Arsenal have pull. It's just, it's Juventus, isn't it? Juventus are in Europe. Arsenal can only offer him finances, and he's clearly not moved by the prospect of London. Probably don't know who Mikel Arteta is. It is what it is. We move. Sevilla second in La Liga. Martial about to win La Liga before a Prem Capo. To be fair, shout out to Martial, man. It looks like he took a wage cut to get his Sevilla loan sorted. And yeah, Lingard's progressing talks with Newcastle and things like that. Martial won't be a difference maker. Sevilla already got clinical and dangerous finishes. He'll do well, though. Just won't win the league. Arteta is trying to force Dan's hand for the larger bag, and I want that. If we want Isaac, I also want Adeyemi to come. And summertime, I want to blow a bag on Jacob Ramsey from Villa. I'd love it, but dream chasing, man. Dream chasing. Some of these big Arsenal accounts are saying that he's rejected both our clubs in order to save face. I mean, he's rejected everything. He's rejected Spurs. He's rejected Arsenal. The propaganda. You know, you heard that Juventus, you heard Arsenal got rejected because they were onto him from October and it didn't bang. You heard Spurs had an offer on the table similar to Juventus's, and they said you could even wait till summer, which initially Juventus wanted to do allegedly. But I do think it's a bag of saving face. Like I said, they're gonna start saving. Watch you give it a few days. The Athletic is gonna say, well, it was well speculated that Arsenal wanted Vlahovic. Report, the sources we speak to insist it was never as close as expected. Arteta did talk, this happened, but then this and that. You know how the thing is set, man. You know how it is, man. Oh, yeah, I see a cheer. Appreciate you, 407, for that cheer. Appreciate that, man. Really appreciate that. Is the Aubameyang redemption tour not a possibility? It should be. Cutting off your nose to spite your face. If you bring in a striker, you can rub out a striker. But, when your team is not scoring, when you haven't got a consistent goal scorer, people are going to say, whoa, what's going on with Aubameyang? No one cared when it looked like it was banging for Lacazette and that. But now, obviously, rightly so, Aubameyang's still got more goals in the league than Lacazette. And to be fair with Lacazette, a lot of fans can't flip on him now because he's always been meaty in terms of scoring goals. And you switched on him in the first half of last season and you turn back on him now. I mean, towards the end of last season, him and Pepe were probably best players, excluding a couple towards the tail end of last year. This season, he's earned his spot in the team. He's been doing the same things. He's been missing meaty chances as well. He's been missing pens. But you lot are happy when it all works. Man don't care because he's doing the link-up play and stuff. It's only when we lose or drop points that people want to look at things. But we play the same way. Not pressing coordinated, too easy to bypass our midfield, individual mistakes, an inability to break down low blocks, a lack of technicality in terms of progressive passing by our midfield pivot. These are things, whether we win, lose, or draw, are all there. And you can go through all of my videos on YouTube. Been saying this. The problem is people want to see what they want to see. They don't want to see what's actually in front of them. They like to paint their own narratives in football, I'm seeing Arsenal fans. I don't know. The Arsenal fans must be teenagers. Guys are like, oh, can't wait till in a few years we get Juventus and we're going to knock them out and Vlahovic is going to be upset. Brother, when last did we knock a team out of the Champions League? What, 09? When last was we in the Champions League? Get a fucking grip, mate. What are you talking about? It's just sounding like tosh. Really and truly. It's not making any sense. Edu needs to organise that banging barbecue with Real Sociedad's board. Maybe he invited Vlahovic and Edu's a shit cook. Like, to be fair with you, should have shouted William and just no one's there. You get William's restaurant to bring you stuff. You just pull it on the grill, heat it up, act like you cooked it. Pretend you sprinkled some something on it and just lie like, yeah, man, I've been curing this for time. You get it? And even that, I think I saw this resurface online. This is in 2019 in relation to Edu. Edu going to Arsenal. My condolences. He's been slabbed as subservient people, which is crazy. Apparently, it's going all the way down. This is showing his incompetence in relation to Neymar. Apparently, Edu has taken responsibility for allowing Neymar's father into the dressing. So again, incompetence. And there was actually, I was reading this off topic, people. I just thought, let me share it to you. There was actually on Twitter, a lot of things in relation to Edu are resurfacing. And there was one where the fans are getting onto him and saying, at his last club, I think it's Corinthians, they're saying they called Edu a donkey and they said, where's the striker? Things are doing full circle. Obviously, Neymar's family shouldn't be there. Is this what a mess? Who is the boss of this thing? Edu back Gasper is going to Arsenal. My condolences, Arsenal. Boy, it's just incompetence, man. And I do think Edu and Arteta are trying. There's a bit more urgency, and I think we don't, without knowing everything, we're doing them a bit dirty, and maybe it is what it is. But as much as I feel sorry for you lot, potentially, at the end of the day, no one put a gun to you lot, said to take this job. You knew the thing. You know, you lapped up all the praise off the back of last summer. You've got to accept this. And when the window closed in the summer, you should have known what you're doing in January. Boy, shout out to you lot. You're going to live or die by midfield. Ultimately, if you don't score goals, you can't win games. So, boy, new contract and all these things, it's meaty. We wasted so much time on Vlahovic when we should have set a time limit and moved on to another target. I mean, I'm going to be fair. I mean, it looks like Vlahovic was the ambitious one, but I do think Arsenal have other targets. The problem is whether you can convince these other targets or their clubs to sell with time running out is another thing. You know, you can talk about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You know, Jovic has one foot out the door with Real Madrid. You might be able to pattern a loan like Odegaard or like it was looking with Arthur Melo. Isaac, if you don't pay the release clause or make an unbelievable offer to Sociedad and force the player's hand to do his part, is what it is. They're going to want a replacement. They're not having the best of seasons. You know, if you're not having the best of seasons, you want to hold on to your decent players, and he's not having one of the best of seasons. You know, I think there's very few strikers that are going to impact this thing, man. At least you're looking to replace Aubameyang. United not replacing Martial, even though he's one of our best forwards. Yeah, but, you know, at least you've got other targets. You could talk about replacing them, man. You've got to use him. Aubameyang's been stinking up the place, but everyone has. It's crazy, man. DG, would you have taken Martial? Yeah, man. Someone needs to clean Martial's boots. I mean, someone needs to clean Martinelli's boots. Why not? I'm joking. Yeah, it would have been good, but he's another one. Are you a striker or a winger? Like, you know, fans wouldn't be nice. DG, has Gerrard got more ambition than Mikel? I don't know. Until I have a conversation or speak with Mikel Arteta or Gerrard, it's difficult. What I will say is, you know, well, we're in front of Villa, but Villa look like they sing from the same hymn sheet, really. You know, I said it. You know, one thing I liked about Villa is the way they move. You can see ambition, bringing in Coutinho linked with Bentancur. Gerrard looks like a very good manager, and he will do his thing, bringing through the young players. I go back to last summer. Just the open dialogue with how the CEO spoke about when we decided to sell Grealish, how we was actually utilizing the funds and things like that. So, yeah, man, I would say it's a club thing, man, really. DJ is right. Vlahovic never wanted to move. He's been up front. His fans trying to speak it into existence. Reality bending is not real. Only God has that. I want El Nesri since Sevilla got Martial. DG knows I've been screaming El Nesri since last year. You have, man. But again, time is ticking up. Bro, I don't care about being hardworking. Like, you work hard, you're good for the young players, you're good with link-up play. You should have all of that at a top club. You only focus on it when we overcompensate because someone's not bringing nothing to the table. As much as I love Lacazette, bro, hardworking is dead, bro. You can be one of the most hardworking in life. It don't mean you have the rewards. It's not about working hard. It's about working smart, brother. Right now, I don't need no hard workers. I work hard. I'm on YouTube every day. You work hard. Man needs something else. Other people, bare guys in the team work hard. Martinelli works hard. Smith Rowe works hard. Saka covers a lot of ground statistically. We're overcompensating, man. Laka's good for the squad, but as your main guy in January, it's a myth. And then, the young tugs up front, the 30 ones are not at the club. Eddie's not 30, man. Like, unpopular opinion, I think having more time off the pitch this season has been to our detriment. I'm not sure I agree, but I told you, you lot do this thing where you're like, maybe Europa League. First it was we're in Europa League, group stage, you can rest players, this and that. Then it was, we're playing once a week, we can do this. It doesn't matter if you're playing 3 times a week, 1 time a week. The variables are going to be the same, and what you do with your time tells you everything. There are some building blocks being introduced at Arsenal, let's be serious, but the improvements are overstated and to a degree overrated, and obviously people just want to just pick it, just attack when things are going wrong. Arsenal's very volatile. 5 games were the best thing in the world. 5 games that are going negatively were the worst team in the world. It's very difficult to look at Arsenal with balance. A lot of fans don't possess that. But they've been shady, man. And this is probably where I look at it, where you can have a novice manager or a novice director and experienced manager. I think to have both 2 guys learning their jobs is problematic. You need someone that can negotiate, that can navigate a good January period. Can Edu do that? I don't know. I'm afraid we're going to do a panic buy like Perez, to be honest. The only hope for a striker is if we splash the cash on another striker that fits our system, or get Oba and Arteta to build their relationship and get him firing. Arteta's going to have to be humble. He's cutting off his nose to spite his face. If, you know, at this moment in time with no other striker, if something happens to Lacazette or Nketiah, what are you going to do? You know, yeah, you could play Pepe up there. My thing would be, if we're going to keep doing this, you might as well just play Martinelli up front. For me, you might as well just slap Martinelli up front. That way you get Smith Rowe backing off the flanks. And then, well, he gets at least Martinelli gets an education up there, because, you know, and then you keep rotating Laka where you could. I go Martinelli and Laka. Eddie can do his sub thing, but if it was up to me, Eddie'd be gone in the summer. He would have been gone in January in some capacity, man. I wouldn't mind another season out of Europe. This is dead, man. This is dead. I think we need to understand that Isaac is about our max level of player we can bring in. Players like Vlahovic are a smokescreen. And I hear that, but I wouldn't say it's a smokescreen. We've gone for Vlahovic. We've then gone for Isaac. This is what the club is going to come out in articles to say face. There's a smokescreen. We're never on to Vlahovic. Somehow they'll say they said that we were speaking in October. Negotiations stopped there. He's dead, man. It's dead. I can't lie. Europa League's tired, man. It is what it is if we get there, but I ain't trying to see it, man. Our boy is here for a year, convinced. Well, unless they tear up his contract, boy, again, then of course he's here for a year. It's very reactive. And like I said, pardon me, even if the relationship with Aubameyang was 30, like I said, the minute he signed that new deal, the work to begin to finding a new striker should have been there. Now, if these are all the strikers, the Jonathan Davids, the Calvert-Lewin, Vlahovic is signing for us, but Vlahovic, all of these guys, then fair enough. But boy, this is the problems, you know. Are you going to wait till Saka's 35 before you say I need a right winger? Or Smith Rowe before I say, or Odegaard in the 10 before you say I need a 10? This is the same logic that said, oh, we need to buy a midfielder when Xhaka looks like he's departing. He plays silly games. He wins silly prizes. Like, life is quite simple in that regard, if I'm completely honest. Crazy one, man. Very crazy. We need smart workers. We just need a bit more quality, man. Like, bro, working hard and being good for the young players sees you filled up with a squad of El Nene, Lacazette, inconsistencies, really. A lot of these players are hot and cold. I love Lacazette, so don't take this as a hating campaign. Lacazette is hot and cold. Xhaka is hot and cold. El Nene is hot and cold. You got to throw Aubameyang into that mix now, you know. You throw in all them Chambers and Cedrics and Holdings, they get their all little periods where they might break into the team and they do all right. These men are hot and cold, you know. Leno is one of them who's a squad player, but he's there now. Like, there's very few players you can throw your hat on, obviously, and it'll be the young players, and it's really unhealthy. You're not going to see Smith Rowe, Saka, and these lot excel for 38 games. You know, just a few weeks ago, everyone was gassing Smith Rowe scoring in the big games. You know, all of a sudden you wouldn't think a man has 8 goals, you know, in the league. Saka, when he's scoring against Spurs and City, man are gassing it. Now, man are looking at him shaky. Can you be surprised? The young players, 20 years of age, are trying to install consistency, have good or bad moments. Martinelli the same. He's been scrappy at times. Now everything is going good. It's a dangerous place to be in. That your form and your results and really your season is hinging on these young players, which is testament to them, is questionable to the club. We're hiding behind these young players. Players are hiding behind these young players. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's how the world works, really. Right. Is where them, man. And even the Isaac thing, you know, you're relying a lot on someone in there early. As much as you say he fits our system and that, but it's difficult to join a team I'm making no excuses. It's difficult to join a team in January. You know, Aubameyang joined in Jan and banged it off. He doesn't play for Arsenal, but Bruno Fernandes, he joined in United in January and he was banging for a period. Obviously, there's more, but there's not too many players you could say join in January and hit it off. Everybody loves Odegaard now. They were saying he was meaty in the summer based off the back of, you know, leaving and joining a new league in Jan. You know, Isaac's got a lot. Good link-up play, can score goals, can do all these things. But his team isn't in the best form. He's not in the best of form in terms of goal scoring. He's going to have, as a young man, adapting to a new way of life, new training, new system, new league. Physically, he's still quite slim as well, you know. It probably will be the same Lacazette thing. He might link up playing that, but he might struggle to score goals. And this is where fans are going dangerous. You're going to put all your hopes on him. And you've got to also remember it will indirectly affect him because we have not got that creative pivot, that balance in terms of being solid defensively and being creative with the pivot. So every player is going to have to drop deep. Which, again, if you're going to buy him and you say, you know what, use this period to adapt, fair play. I'd rather that than Laka and Eddie, because on paper, they're not here long term. But boy, you know, what? Lacazette's got 2 goals in the Prem. Eddie ain't scored one. Like, wait. You're not here by mistake. Like, you're not here by mistake. We didn't wake up and woe is me. It's not like there's mad injuries and shit. Like, this happened. Bro, even if Aubameyang's finished, and I finished Aubameyang, like, and I'm not advocating his praises. If we're not going to sign someone and there's a finished Aubameyang, Lacazette, and then you might as well delegate all the game time evenly, innit? Lacazette gives you general play and whatnot, but you need goals. Aubameyang doesn't really score goals, but if the way these men are moving, you can't advocate to freeze him out if you're not going to bring no one in. Well, there's no benefit to playing Eddie, you know, really. I would have said, you know, you're giving him experience, you're putting him in the shop window, but he's clearly trying to leave the club on a free. So there's no benefit to playing Eddie, really and truly. Very reactive, very naive. Arteta just needs to get out his feelings and put his professional head on when it comes. And this is where, again, he's entitled to rub man out if you're moving mad, innit? But this is where you've got to play the game. You know, look at it's different, but look at how Lukaku and Tuchel handled it. Clearly, Tuchel ain't got no time for Lukaku. When there's a chance to rub him out, I'll be surprised if, you know, the new striker don't come in. But he's got to play the game a bit because he knows, all right, Lukaku's meaty, but I'm going to need him from now to the end of the season. You've got to play the game, man. Everyone is hot and cold. I don't know about Isaac. I can't lie. Impactful players are hard to find in Jan. But this is where fans, we're just putting all our hopes on Saturn. And if it bangs, it bangs. If it don't, it don't. I would rather get a goal-scoring winger like Rafinha for the same money and play Martinelli up front for the rest of the season. With after coming midfield, can no striking option, excluding Vlahovic, ain't going to make an instant impact. Wait, this is where we're at, isn't it? This is where we're at, man. This is where we're at. I think we'll get Jovic on loan and David in the summer, but you have to do something, innit? You got to do something, because right now, boy, nothing's going on. Like, you've got to make something happen, without a doubt. Or there's serious question marks. Serious question marks, man. Which is peak, people. So, yeah, man, it is what it is. But in relation to Vlahovic, where can I find it? Where I keep moving things away. Juventus are in talks to sign Fiorentina striker Dusan Vlahovic, with the Serbs agents not considering any offers from Arsenal and Tottenham. Man, both teams, mainly Arsenal, getting left on blue tick. See, all of a sudden, the phone can be accessed. When you're 30, the phone can be accessed. You man are begging him to come from October. He's not calling the phone. You're DMing him on Instagram. Fans are getting my man's number and messaging him. He's not on it. Have some self-pride, man. It is what it is. Fiorentina were begging to sell him to us, but the player don't want to sign. Fiorentina want to sell the 21-year-old Serbian international this month to maximize their profit, as he just has 18 months left on his contract. Juventus are now willing to allocate more funds to their original January spending budget in order to beat Arsenal and Spurs in the race for Vlahovic. A report in an Italian newspaper on Monday evening claimed Juventus had reached an agreement with Vlahovic's agents over a 5-year deal, as they are set to make an official 50.4 bid for him to their club. And again, we heard for a while he's agreed personal terms with Juventus. So this was just whatever's going on with Juventus in the background. This is where, unless you're Vlahovic, Arsenal, Spurs, Juventus, the players with advisors, for all the talk, you don't know what's going on. Clearly, Juventus was sorting out whatever they were sorting out, whether that was manipulating their budget, getting rid of players so that they could be in a position where they would do this. Clearly, you know, Juventus knew, all right, cool, Fiorentina are capping, in it. Clearly, Juventus got into a decent conversation with Fiorentina, with Vlahovic's agents, and said, you know what, regardless of the noise and what Fiorentina are doing, my client wants you, man. If you, man, mess about, then we might consider the others, or we might just wait to the summer where you see in City, Bayern Munich, you know, PSG, half at Real Madrid, all of these teams looking for players and strikers, and not everyone's going to get Haaland and Mbappe. So this tells me, okay, it was just a case of a waiting game. Maybe Fiorentina didn't want to deal with Juventus because they don't want to strengthen a rival, and we heard all of that sort of stuff. But you've seen the language change now. This tells me, okay, cool, the game of poker, we've won it. We've got the best poker face. We're down to the end of the window. It's been made abundantly clear that all the other teams that want him, Arsenal in particular, don't have a snowball's opportunity of bringing him to the carpet. So it is what it is. You man are going to have to deal with us. We can drop you a Kulusevski. We can give you some P's. We can do a loan with an option to buy, or say nothing. We'll just wait till the summer and get our man, where, boy, you're going to have to, you probably will still get 50 odd million, but that's not a guarantee in it. So it is what it is. So I think that's where that one there it comes into it. It's an important valuation. This is what the Fiorentina sporting director said. Over 70 million is a lump sum with no swap deals and no payment structures. All our doors are open in this situation because we need to understand what the players and his agent really want to do. We received some important offers for him, offers that were very substantial, but we never got any feedback back from his agent. So again, it's all coordinated. His agents are not going to pick up the phone for no reason, contrary to to other reports about being a money grabbing and all these things, which they probably are. But you can care about money and your client. It was only a Juventus thing. So yeah, on our side, there's always been greater transparency. I refer to what Joe Barone said. All our doors are open. We're ready to sit down and talk. We made various important offers for a contract extension. We've also had a few offers to sell him in a strong way. So it's always been Juve. I'm saying this because our club makes 75 million a year and we can't afford to lose a valuable asset for free. They're all valid and satisfactory offers with payment methods that suited us. We couldn't go ahead with the deal because there was never any contact with the player's agent. So again, it's all coordinated. They're not going to. Why would you not answer your phone? Bro, man's an agent, bro. I'm a small little content creator. My phone is 9 times out of 10 always in my hand. My man's a football agent. And it's not even just Vlahovic. I'm sure he's got a bag of clients. You know, this ain't the only one that might be patterned in the move. You've got to keep the phone on, or you've got to be contacted. Maybe he's got another phone and he said, you know what, Juventus, when the time's right, you man call this line. And when it made a different noise, is what it is. Boy, you lot got shagged, took you around the houses, man. And for Arsenal, I don't care about no valiant effort to sign no one. You need to bring people to the carpet. Move on. For me, I think we need a striker, but you don't bring a midfielder in, people might as well sack themselves, if I'm completely honest. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Oba had chances for the last 18 months. He's been poor and getting older. At least with Eddie, he's young and hungry. But they're all shit. That's the fundamental one. And if he plays decent, he'll get a contract somewhere else. That don't help Arsenal, though. Like him getting a contract, him being young and hungry, don't help anything because we're not trying to sell him and make peas, you know. Of course, that I would love if he plays and he scores goals. I haven't seen that. So he's not saying we can't make peas. He can't score. What's the point? Technically, Aubameyang's under contract the longest out of all of them. So it's not me. But you're right. Aubameyang's robbed. But it's not making sense. It's literally not making sense. Like, we're just improving other players for no reason. Like, what's the point? At some point, you need to say, forget all of that. Would you take John Joe Shelby? Allow me, man. Allow me, man. Allow me. Finally, this dusty Dusan drama is done. Trust. I told you, man, from the beginning, this window is on Edu. Arteta tells my man to get X type of player or X type of player. If you can't do it, it's literally your job to find alternative options. How comes it's us, man, who don't work in football, coming up with alternative strikers? Make it make sense. Edu is taking the P like Lizides. Trust me, he's fighting outside the bookies, bro. Man are doing Eddie versus Aubameyang versus Lacazette. Boy, not the striking conversation I'd want to entertain, but ain't no one trying to hear none of that. Like, they're all meaty. They're all meaty. I love Aubameyang, but the real Aubameyang's gone missing some time ago. I like Eddie Nketiah. He's come from Halen, but he's meaty. Like Lacazette, I like you, but I overcompensate on your link-up play, working hard, passion merchants. Definitely the celebrations for the 2 goals you score out of a 38-game calendar, because you're not that guy. You know, reality is, Aubameyang's what, 30. If he was that guy, you know, when he came to this club, we probably would not be looking at another striker. We probably wouldn't have brought in Aubameyang. We probably would have went for another winger. We could be looking at this a lot more differently. Hell, there might even be less pressure, if not even just Lacazette. If Eddie was a 30 youngster, he's not. And there's no shame in that. I'm sure he'll find his feet. He's 22, but he's not one of them young bulls that come out of the academy and it's your time. It's not Eddie's time, really. You know, he's 22. He can go have a good career. But right now, in 2022, Arsenal need a striker for right now that we can look at for the last couple of months of this season, really the next 18 months to 3-year period, in which, Eddie, you need to go elsewhere and do that. This is dead. So it's of little benefit to me saying at least, but Eddie does this and lack of that, bro. The 2 players' deals are running down. Aubameyang, sorry, he's got another contract, but the club are trying to palm him off. But hey, we'll have to see, man. But making sense, bro. It's not making sense, man. It's just nonsense, really. If I'm if I'm completely honest with you lot. Anyways, away from all of that, keep the why not? You might as well try on Esri, but them links they have gone. So maybe Sevilla said no. Maybe Arsenal have had these. You know how they say in these articles these concerns. There was concerns about Szoboszlai, no concerns about bringing in Cedric and Willian and all these guys though. Really, it's dead. It's dead, man. A man said improve him to help him get a nice contract. Somewhere else can't make it up. It's dead, man. Like, bro, that's just like with the manager. The manager, like, do we want him to be a good manager for Arsenal Football Club or what else? You hear what that dickhead Adebayo always say? Yeah, my man's in his feelings. He's still burning. Despite everything he won at City and the money he's made, he's burning. You know what they say about your first love and that, man. He deep down wanted to stay. Adebayo slates Arsenal for Aubameyang treatment and insists the same happened to me. Sounds like me when I talk to my ex teammates at AFC Edmonton when they get rubbed out as well by the gaffer. Like, hey, gaffer, I had to, mate. You know, you took my captaincy and then it went down the toilet. What can I say, mate? You know, what could I say? But yeah, the same happened to me. I mean, I can't lie. If Adebayo was backing you, you probably did that shit. You probably did that. You probably guilty as hell. But anyways, I know he's going through a lot because that's Arsenal for you. They never knew how to forgive. So I know he went through a lot. He's a fantastic player. I wish him all the best. I sent him a message already. You know how to forgive, you know. Look at the unsavourable, you know. The Spurs fans used to, you know, opposite some clubs, you know, and be a bit political. Certain clubs you went on to go and play, they used to chant about you in a very nasty and derogatory way and get quite personal. But anyways, he said they never knew how to forgive. So I know he went through a lot. He's a fantastic player. I wish him all the best. I sent him a message already. We just want him to bounce back. Whether we like it or not, he's an African brother, and we want to keep him representing Africa the way he was doing before. True. I agree with that. It's an IC3 thing. What did he say? I don't think so. This is what I know because it happened to me. Also, not in the same way, but in Arsenal, way back, I'd be surprised to see. But he's a great player, so let's see what happens, people. On AFCON as well, people, it's unsavourable scenes, and it's quite upsetting. But yesterday, I saw apparently people there was a deadly crush reported at the Cameroon Stadium in the aftermath of Cameroon versus Comoros. Allegedly, 6 people are sadly reported to have been killed and dozens have been hurt in a crush outside of the stadium. Allegedly, video